Hello, my name is Laura Sigmund of Best Practices Consulting Services, and today we're going to review economic gardening. We're going to define what it is and how you actually may be able to use it on Main Street. Well, economic gardening actually is an academic term, and if you look at it in the Philippines, or if you even look at here in the United States, you'll see in Pueblo, Colorado, a variety of different versions. The Marion Kaufman Enterprise has done a lot of research and development around economic gardening. And if you are an urban planner or a economic development agency, it may mean something a little different to you as well. Today, we're going to address it from a Main Street point of view, economic gardening. And I like to use case studies to actually explain so that you as an audience, as a person who can actually apply this technique, might find it to be a little bit more useful or valuable. So economic gardening is intended for underperforming assets to actually find some way to revitalize or gain more potency. We're going to look at a short-term track for bringing or revitalizing usage of an underperforming or dormant asset. I'm going to give an example of an actual HVAC store or hardware store where maybe the home ownership has somewhat dwindled due to transition or aged out populations, or mainstays or anchor organizations like major automotive suppliers are no longer in the area. When people choose to create brick and mortar establishments, they do so based on location strategy, and that strategy is usually contingent upon population and people who need those services. So as you can imagine, neighborhoods transition and economies sort of change. And if you're in a retail space, you need to understand what that impact looks like. So we're going to use the HVAC hardware store. So maybe all of a sudden where you had 60% home ownership, now you find that you're down to 20, 25% home ownership. So people may not come to the hardware store when they are renters, right? They're tenants and someone else is responsible for repairs. That would typically be something that a homeowner would be interested in. That's the situation. The fact that people are no longer homeowners in your direct community does not mean that there's still no market for you, and you can't pick up your brick and mortar and carry it away, right? What you can do, however, is look for maybe the handyman supply chain. Look for general contractors and other people. And if you've ever seen a DIY, or what Home Depot used to do in years past, are a lot of demos. You could take your facility with all of the inventory and all the supplies needed and do a DIY workshop, right? And if you have a general contractor or a handyman providing the service and they're doing the workshops and maybe you offer the space to them for free, it's a great opportunity to actually make sure that you move product off of your own shelves. Of course, you, the owner, would not allow them to bring pre-purchased items into your store. They need to actually use your store and purchase those items directly from you. Another method of economic gardening is more like a push-pull strategy. Say you own a retail store and you're selling clothing. And again, the population has transitioned where maybe you were doing a lot of church lady clothes or things for professional class. You find that you have more urbanites. So it's now time for you to change up your inventory. As you're trying to rebrand or rebuild your reputation, you may need to find some anchors or opportunities that will draw traffic into your door. One easy way to do that is to find influencers, people who don't have their own physical location, who may benefit from having a push-pull strategy or direct relationship with you. Think sort of like EDS to Delphi, if that makes sense to you. So say you own the clothing store and you decided to change out your merchandise to better accommodate the local resident or the population that you plan to service based on your location strategy. So if they're into hair and makeup, if they're into skincare, if they're into something different, find your slower day, the day that you don't make enough money, and allow them to come and do demos in your location, right? They buy something, they get a free facial. At the same time, the person who's doing the actual esthetician work is having an opportunity to build that clientele. And they're also using a cross-marketing strategy where they're going to tell people on this day at this time, find me at this location. And if they're real savvy with social media and able to actually become a relevant brand ambassador, you find that you can eat off maybe not the direct traffic, but the pass-through traffic. So when we talk about economic gardening, we actually like to curtail it to our actual audience. Give me your situation, either being the actual brick and mortar and how to revitalize it, or maybe someone who thinks that they could maybe be impactful to someone else if only given the opportunity. So writing strategy really requires that we understand who you are, how you plan to impact the marketplace, and whether or not you have that dormant asset. Laura Sigmund, Best Practices Consulting Services. This is our review, really quick, of economic gardening on Main Street. Thank you. Have a great day.